We live.
The Brock Purdy era podcast. Right there.
How about them boys?
How about them Commanders?
Them boys.
Commanders could have had a chance in the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
Like your boy, Spider Can here, aka Mr. aka Rob Parker's illegitimate son, right here. So
not Rob.
Not Rob.
decorated anchor in sports media.
Rob Parker.
Rob Parker is crazy.
That is crazy.
You know, it's Blerd Cartel post game. I'm just thrown off.
that boy, illegitimate son over there, boy.
Shout out to the Cornball brothers. But you know, it's post game. Let me change my name because it's not Saturday and I am not.
Whoa!
Lex Stroker is crazy.
I am not Lex Stroker.
No. The legendary Stroker is here.
Oh, man. Lex Stroker in the building, but you know.
Oh, my goodness.
It's Blerd Cartel post game. You already know where to find us: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts for your listening needs. If you want to hear the Blerd Cartel Roundtable or what it sound like, the only two podcasts on audio platforms. But we're here to talk some football. You know, it's Hollywood Sensei the Blerd Cartel. You know what I mean? Week 18 ended. I mean, a lot of third stringers playing yesterday. A couple games with some playoff implications and whatnot, but you know, we don't need to get into all that. What we do need to get into is it's the playoff edition.
Yeah, wild card.
You got your wild card matchup, so you got Jaguars versus Chargers, interesting matchup. Bengals, Ravens for the third time this year. Bills, Dolphins for the third time this year. Skip Bayless's wet dream, Tom Brady versus the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Vikings.
Don't know who to pick.
Vikings, Giants for the second time this year. And then we also have Seahawks, Niners for the third time this year with the
one I don't want. The one opponent I didn't want.
Chiefs and Eagles on your first round buys. You know, so what game is the most interesting out of these wild card matchups?
Well, is Tua playing for the Dolphins one?
It's debatable because he was still under concussion protocol, so it's up in the air.
Are they going to give him the needle and just like?
I'm pretty sure, like, not ignoring that fact, he wants to be out there. You know, just like most football players generally want to be.
I'm seeing how you doing. I love it.
If I'm gonna just throw it out there and keep it a bean, the most interesting one has got to be this Chargers Jaguars matchup because it's intriguing to say the least. You know, because I don't really think you have like a dependable pick on that game. You know, the Jaguars looked shaky yesterday. Naturally, they look shaky. I mean, yesterday they shaky in their divisional win and get in matchup. And then after that, you go along with the fact that the Chargers have been up and down because of injuries and things the entirety of the year, but they have a stacked looking roster, and that game could easily be a shootout. It could go either way. So if I gotta look at just the most interesting one, it's got to be that game because that's probably the one that doesn't really have a favorite. If I had to make a guess.
I mean, if you look at it in a vacuum, the Chargers had the better offense, I guess. I mean, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Jay Herbo. I mean, it's the better offense than N.T.L. and Christian Kirk and the Prince Trevor Lawrence. So, I mean, but the Jaguars can put up points.
Aisha, what's going on?
Aisha, the Facebook bot. The Jaguars can put up points respectfully. They can go into the mid 30s with some of these games they've been having. So, but you know, is the Chargers defense healthy?
No, we seen what Joey Bosa limp off, Mike Williams limp off the field. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like this game, and it's crazy to call it an upset because Jacksonville is at home, but I could easily see them beating the Chargers because the Chargers are so inconsistent to me. Well, not even to me. They just proved it. They're inconsistent as fuck. I mean, they lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to all the time, and this is definitely a team that fits that criteria for them. Like, I mean, the Jaguars are on a roll. They are on a roll. They got into the playoffs. They got hot at the right time, and we know how the NFL playoffs go. If you hot and you strike hot at the right time, that momentum carries you. And you know this
It's
things
crazy. It's crazy what
Saxonville may be back. You know what I mean?
it's crazy what a year makes. They replaced Lincoln Riley. They got Dougie P. So their quarterback is, I mean, not quarterback. If their coach is less horny, Urban Meyer, excuse me. They trade
the
up.
worst coach in NFL history.
They traded coaches. They got a less horny coach for this, and Dougie P's more focused on the game. And then he's a former Super Bowl winning coach. So I mean, Trevor Lawrence just needed better guidance. Of course, they broke the bank for Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk fucked up the wide receiver market. So I don't know. I think the Chargers is generationally bad since last time being in the Super Bowl. They had a team with Phillip Rivers, one of the greatest running backs of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson, and one of the greatest tight ends of all time, Antonio Gates, and couldn't get anywhere.
Kept losing in the divisional or the wild card round.
What I will say is interesting about the matchup.
He won the AFC Championship, I think.
I don't think I can say is we do have to remember that neither one of these teams has playoff experience, but the only head coach, Doug Peterson, not only has playoff experience, he has Super Bowl winning experience. So he'll be able to try to keep. He'll be able to give some advice and try to keep the team calm.
And let's not forget that he's fearless.
Very fearless. But unfortunately, or fortunately, Brandon Staley is also fearless. Fourth downs, midway through games. So I feel like that game will be a shootout. I feel like because both teams can be inconsistent, but both teams can get on fire. Both teams can score. Both teams got people that can score. So I really feel like that'll be the shootout. That's gonna be the one I'm gonna have my eye on to just go the distance. And I really can't call it. Doug Peterson, he does have more pedigree, but the team I feel like is more rookie-ish. The Jaguars have not been in a relevant standing like this since Blake Bortles in the AFC Championship game a couple years back, and we saw how that went. So
shout out to Blake Bortles.
That stigma is there. So and then combine it with it's at Jaguar land. It's at the Jaguars. So I feel like more pressure is going to be on the Jaguars because they're at home. But the other part I want to say about that is Brandon Staley might be on the hot seat. You
got to think about it like this. That game with the Jaguars, they was actually cheated out of that game. With New England, they was actually cheated out of that game because that was a game they were supposed to win, and New England was down about maybe like 15, 20 points in that game. I remember that game. So they were kind of cheated because the PI call basically put New England. New England was on their own 35. The PI call put them on on the Jaguars 25. So that was instantly like 40 yards, 50 yards. So it's like
making the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that was basically like 40, 50 yards.
It was Tom Brady all along.
Yeah, Tom Brady all along. And at the end of the day, and then they turned around and lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So I was like,
With this game, I'm saying right now, this will be the highest scoring of all the wild card games in the playoffs. 2 top 10 passing teams. Chargers 3rd in the league in passing. Yeah. Jaguars 10th in the league in passing.
I don't know. Jacksonville might actually beat them.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville. I'm taking Jacksonville in this game.
And here's the thing with that is because I'm not even gonna say
Put the bracket up. 1 second.
I'm not even gonna say Justin Herbert is inconsistent. I'm gonna say the Jaguars, not the Jaguars. The Chargers in itself is inconsistent because of just how they playing. Like it was looking like they were the team to beat in the AFC West, and then it just shifted.
They were never the team to beat.
As long as Mahomes is still in the
It
AFC,
did with the pickups they added that year last year. It looked like they was the team. I mean,
It's
That's
true.
what we
But
wanted.
the one thing I will bring up is before we get off this game is it is very possible that Brandon Staley might get fired if they don't win this game. It is a very real possibility that he might be on the way out because the team has underperformed the last couple of years. Last year, they should have been in the playoffs. This year, the team is stacked, though it was rattled with injury. And if he just runs off and lose, he very well might be on his way out. It might be a head coaching,
especially if it's a blowout loss too.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think this is going to be a back and forth, John. Like, whoever got the ball last wins. You know what I mean? That's
I can see that. I can really see that. That's the game to look out for. That's one of them games.
All the Chargers ever was a week one wet dream to think they were like the
I mean, look, and it also depends on Keenan Allen can't stay healthy to save his life either. So
right.
I mean,
so one of the two Saturday games. The other Saturday game, we got Brock Purdy versus Geno Smith, a matchup that nobody had.
Oh man,
playoff matchup. Nobody
had on a bingo card.
All right. So I'll go first on this one. I'm gonna say this: you don't want to play a division team 3 times in a row. That's 3 times a year. You don't want to play them, and I don't know. I want to say the 49ers is just gonna straight out win this one, but it's a division game, and those are like the hardest games of the season. So I don't know. That one is up in the air. I'm not going to say Seattle going to pull that upset. I'm going to say it's a possibility that they might lose because at the end of the day, obviously, Brock Purdy, he's definitely a rookie. I mean, I haven't seen him make no rookie mistakes, but he's definitely a rookie. So that might be the difference maker right there. So.
Okay.
Go ahead, rank for me.
Okay. So let's go ahead and just be real here for a second. The 49ers should emphatically win this game. Keyword should. The only way that they lose is if Brock Purdy, shows playoff nervousness, makes mistakes, because the 49ers up and down that roster have a better roster up and down at every position over the Seattle Seahawks. The only thing is just Brock Purdy, and regardless of what our fellow 49er fan may say, Brock Purdy and the 49ers have played just a bunch of stompings. They played relatively a bunch of easy games. So Brock Purdy has not really had to be that guy to pull out a game other than the game where they fought against the Raiders in overtime. And even then, that was a shocker because they should have never gotten that close. So
you right about that. And I was talking about that earlier. They didn't play nobody real yet. That's another thing.
My God.
They haven't.
Now we turn on the Brady-led Bucks.
No,
I do because the Bucks suck. It's like we're not gonna act like the Bucks have been a good team this year. No, like even though some of the games have been competitive, they shouldn't have been. The 49ers have not had real competition ever since Brock Purdy had to start.
So
let's be real.
My question is, do you say it's Tom Brady or do you say it's Todd Bowles? Which one is it?
Both.
I'm looking at Todd Bowles. He has been proven to not be a good head coach, and even with
nobody respects Todd Bowles.
Now we turn on Todd Bowles. That's
all right. So
he's a good defensive. He's a good defensive defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, he sucks.
Real quick, they talk about Brock Purdy not facing real competition. Okay, the Dolphins are in the playoffs, right? As I checked, or are they not?
You talking about the same Dolphins that fell apart the last half of the year, right? Those same Dolphins that fell apart. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
In the playoffs, right?
The ones that fell apart, right? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Asking a simple question. The
ones that fell apart, right? The ones that are currently like 9-8, not the dominant Dolphins. You right. They are. Continue.
They are in the playoffs.
Oh, the Buccaneers are in the playoffs, right?
Doesn't matter. But
please.
Let's not do this. All right, listen.
Sorry, but
hold on. The Seahawks are in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, okay. The ones that looked in. Yeah, you're right. Keep going.
But here's the thing.
I'm waiting on a good team. I'm
Here's
waiting
the
on
thing.
thing.
Then the Commanders are not in the playoffs, but the Eagles lost to the Commanders, right?
Doesn't matter. But here's
It
what
doesn't matter. They beat.
here's what I'm saying.
You haven't said a good
All
team
right,
yet.
all right. Let me speak my piece real fast. Here's the thing.
You just talking about Todd Bowles in the.
Listen. You played. They played against. They ain't even played against Tua, if I'm not mistaken. And if they did, he's broken. That's one thing. He got concussed like 3 times in the year. So
just that game he played,
but he was concussed none the fact. Two. Let's get one thing straight. Of course, they was going to sweep that division because that division is cheats. Okay, that entire division is cheats. So of course they're gonna go 6-0 in a division that is cheats. The Rams is a non-factor. The Seahawks was barely clinging on to life. Arizona went down way before Kyler Murray went down.
So he's just talking.
I'm just talking. I'm not ready. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what it is. And then the 4 games they did lose. They lost to 4 good teams. All 4 good teams. So at the end of the day,
the Falcons are good. I don't think the Falcons.
Who?
Yeah, we are. But we did win. We did beat them though.
Hold on. We the Broncos are good.
The Broncos was good in the beginning of the year. Yes, they were.
When was Broncos country good?
Look, they lost to them, right?
Never.
The Bears
See,
are good.
But the point that you're missing is that we're supposed to be focused on
losses.
But the thing about it, we're supposed to be focused on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has only been there for like the last 5 or 6 games. Not even talking about most of the losses.
But
I'm waiting on the double-digit win team that Brock Purdy beat. I'm waiting on that answer. What was the double-digit win team Brock Purdy beat?
Now it's double-digit win teams.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the good team, right? The good team, right? The good team that he beat, right? I'm waiting on it.
He beat 3 playoff teams. I'm
waiting on the good team he beat. I didn't say playoff teams. I said the good team, the double-digit win team that he beat. I'm waiting on that answer.
Hey,
because so far the best team that he's beaten is the Seattle Seahawks.
Listen,
that's the best team.
Widen the goalposts or shrink the goalposts however you want. He's 5-0. He beat 3 playoffs.
All right, so here's the thing.
Brock Purdy's 6-0. Excuse
me. Okay, all right, so all right, if they run into Minnesota. Let's call it what it is.
I'm not talking about Minnesota.
If they run into Minnesota, they might have an issue. But Minnesota is weird. They weird right now.
Anyway,
no, their defense is just not to be trusted.
If they run into the Eagles, which more than likely they probably will, he's going to get picked off at least once or twice. And you can't even sit up and say he's not, because the Eagles defense is way more solid than any other defense he played. So any team, let's call it what it is. Any team he beat, their defense was trash. That's right then and there. We want to say that Seahawks ain't got a good defense.
The Seahawks is the best team he's beaten. Period.
They don't have a good defense. That's one thing. And if they run into the Eagles, he's going to get picked off at least 2-3 times. Stop.
He doesn't have 3 picks on the year. I'm just like,
listen,
I said if he run into the Eagles, he's going to get picked off at least 2-3 times.
But you're saying
he went 6-0, 13 TDs, 4 interceptions. I mean, he filled in. This game comes down to which quarterback limits their mistakes. We know that both teams are going to run the ball. 49ers, we know they got Christian McCaffrey. They can run the ball. Kenneth Walker, we know they can run the ball. It's about what quarterback. Brock Purdy has been taking care of the ball exceptionally well for a rookie. Geno Smith led the league in completion percentage. So, I mean, it's going to be about the quarterbacks are going to determine this game. We know the 49ers defense, probably the best defense in the league besides the Eagles. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to take the 49ers. Like, they're at home. They're at home. Close game. Defense wins it. I'm gonna go with 49ers.
I'm not saying they're not gonna win it. I'm just saying it's just a game you should watch out for because it could change.
I'm gonna be real. I don't even think it's gonna be close. Like, if it's close, it's because only the 49ers mess up with like either a fumble, a couple of interceptions. I don't think the game should be close because just other than quarterback, which is the only position we can sort of not trust or have questions about, the 49ers roster up and down dominates over the Seattle Seahawks. Quarterback, whether it's offensive line, defense, wide receivers, tight end, no matter how I look at it, they dominate on the position.
I don't
think it should be close.
The
You know what I
Niners
mean?
should win. It should
You
be
seen
a clean win, but
you seen
things happen. It's any given Sunday.
You're right.
Uh,
Keyword should.
any given
Should.
Sunday,
They should win. They
but you've
should win.
seen it a plethora of times where a team top to bottom is better than whatever team they facing, and they still
I
make
I I I I
the
I,
playoffs.
I give you like this.
But I got the Niners in
Let's
the
go
clean.
to last year. Let's talk about what was it? The Rams. They faced two division teams last year. They played two. They knocked off Arizona, which was the first one, and Arizona had their number all year. I'm not gonna say Arizona. I don't think Arizona. No, they split, but Arizona had their number for majority of the year last year.
Arizona.
And Arizona was the number one seed last year up until what
Like week 10.
week 10, yeah. And then they fell to 5 because they lost like I think like it was like 3 games. It was a division game. It was the Rams and it was another like 2 other games. I can't remember what they were, but they lost those 3 games.
Not on pro rants.
It's no pro ranks. I'm just saying how a division game can like literally it doesn't matter if the team is bad or not. It's just that you played them twice out of the year. That's like let's talk about another genre with Brady. Brady, Drew Brees owned Brady throughout the season that year. He owned him throughout the season, and then Brady turned around and beat Drew Brees in the playoffs. So
It's
I
a
mean,
different story in the playoffs. You know, teams move different. You
yeah,
game.
yeah. So I'm just saying it's so the likelihood of them losing is high, but the 49ers should blow them out, but we'll see because they swept
Hey,
that entire
no,
division.
That's our 2 Saturday games.
the Niners can't afford a first round exit. That's all I'm
We
saying.
got Seattle versus San Francisco at 4:30 on Fox. LA, the Chargers going to Jacksonville, 8:15 on NBC. So on Sunday, first game, CBS special. You got we don't know if Tua's going to be there or not, but it really don't matter. I mean, Miami versus Buffalo. This should be, easily Buffalo for this one. But I mean,
Easy.
I don't think
It all depends on if Tua playing. So,
even if he's playing, it's Buffalo got it.
well, Tua kind of
They got the
I mean,
whole thing.
he's been concussed like 3 times. So
They got this whole thing with DeMar Hamlin, and shout out to him finally getting out the hospital. That's
yeah.
great news. But
And
with all that, surrounding the team, they got something to rally behind. You know,
it-
when a team has something to rally behind, they're even more dangerous than
yeah,
they are. Like I
because
see this game
I
being a
I don't even
blowout.
think he could play anymore, man. I think it's a wrap for him. You know what I'm saying? But they
The-
guaranteed his full contract, so he getting all his money.
But this game, for me, I'm taking Buffalo in a blowout. I mean, I don't. This might be what they did to New England last year in a wild card game. I mean,
I don't know.
It might be similar to that.
I think
Miami is they've literally backed their way into the playoffs. They're not a good team. You know what I mean?
I
Buffalo
mean,
is trouncing them. It's
I'm a if I had to choose the score, I'd say Buffalo 35, Miami 20, 35-20. I mean,
Listen, for Miami, it's Tyreek Hill bust
yeah,
at this
yeah,
point.
pretty much.
And shout out to Jalen Waddle. He's a great
Uh,
receiver, but
for that game, it should be a Bills pretty dominant win, only because the Dolphins that we saw in the beginning of the year that racked off, 28 to 30 points in the fourth quarter against the Ravens, which shouldn't have happened. That team had trouble with the Bills even early on, and it was arguable that they shouldn't even have won that game if it wasn't for some clock management problems that they fought in like week 4 or 5. So that's already one problem. And then they've been battered by Tua problems, everything else, the way they done dealt with it, putting him out there could be a danger. And anybody that's not Tua, whether it's I think Teddy Bridgewater or the rookie they started, I don't really see them scoring any more than 20 points, barring some miracle. So I'm just of the mindset I just don't see them scoring enough. Like otherwise, like they channel that magic they had earlier in the year. I just don't see it. I'm just gonna be real. I can't see them being in Buffalo where it's gonna be cold, and Miami is a hot natured team. So in Buffalo again, I just like you said, you don't want to play a team 3 times in a row. I get it, but every time they play Buffalo, it's been worse for the Dolphins. I don't see it getting better. I just really don't.
Both their defense are pedestrian. I mean, both their running games is pedestrian at this point. So it's equal passing game. Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Tua. I mean, the weather's
Yeah.
gonna play a big
Better
factor
quarterback
in
than
it.
everybody on that roster. Whoever that quarterback.
Miracle for number 3. They're gonna rally behind that. They're gonna be the new 12th man with the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a blowout.
Hey, I don't expect. I think Teddy Bridgewater might play, but I don't expect Teddy Bridgewater to win any playoff games.
Teddy
I just
Bridgewater, troubled waters.
I just don't see it.
choppy waters for the bridge.
But yeah, I'm
Water
pretty sure it's
water under
consensus Buffalo on
water
that.
under the bridge.
So next game we got on Fox 4:30 game. This is the Sunday slate. We got 3 games on Sunday. You got the second game of the year for the New York Football Giants against the Kirk Cousin led Minnesota Vikings. I mean,
Okay, so let me be real with this game. This is the game that I'm sniffing the biggest possible upset happening. Like this is the one that if I got to pick any of the 6 games to possibly be upset, this is the one. Mainly because it took I think a 60-yard field goal just for the Vikings to beat them 2 weeks ago. And I really, really feel like if there was any possible upset I would pick, it'd be this one because defense has been their problem. The Giants have defense, and the Vikings defense has been shaky at best and horrible at worst. And they could just go lay an egg. They could really lay an egg in Minnesota, and I would not be surprised. I really would.
And the Giants, they excel at being the wild card team for some godforsaken reason. They excel at that. So it's like, and I'm not saying they gonna make it far. I'm just saying they, for some godforsaken reason, they're good at being a wild card team. That's just it's like if they anywhere in the middle, they're probably going to lose. If they
listen,
like the dead end, like the last team in the playoffs, they probably gonna start like they're gonna be an issue.
New York
So
Giants. This is what you do. Don't take a boat trip to Miami like you did
Yeah.
last time. You're playing in a cold weather city. Don't go to Miami with Trey Songz on a boat like y'all did last time when you played Green Bay and you seen what happened. But this could be an upset because, like Monray said, it took a miracle field goal for the Giants to win. But for me, I'm going to go with the Vikings because I just don't trust Daniel Jones at all. Like, I don't.
I don't know. He improved. He
No,
improved.
He does.
He has. Daniel Jones, what he got, like 10, 50, like 11 some touchdowns on the season? Like, this team is a very pedestrian offense. Is Saquon Barkley a bust? If the Vikings can somehow slow him down, it's a wrap. It's nothing. It's a wrap. Like, I don't trust Daniel Jones. Justin Jefferson's going to have a hell of a game. League leading receiver over 1,800 yards. I mean, I got the Vikings. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants pulled off an upset because we seen the Giants make historic playoff runs before, but Eli Manning is not walking through those doors anytime soon. So I'm going to take Kirk Cousins. 5 chains on the plane after the game. You know what I mean?
For this game, it's definitely going to be a Justin Jefferson game, like every other game Justin Jefferson played, except for that Jets game because he got smushed in that one. But the last time he played the Giants, 12 receptions, 133 yards, and a touchdown. T.J. Hockenson went off in this one also. Alvin Cook had a pretty good game, and Kirk Cousins. I'll just say this: it's a battle of the offensive lines. Kirk Cousins got sacked 4 times. Danny Dimes got sacked 3 times, and then the only one that was really doing something was Saquon Barkley. So I mean, either or. Let's see what Danny Dimes can do. He had, I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a quiet 334 yards passing. To who? I don't know because they ain't translated.
Kenny Galloway.
Galladay wasn't playing.
No, Galladay was
the worst contract. Niggas talked about Christian Kirk. At least he produced. They signed this nigga and he ain't do shit but drop passes since he been
Galloway. There. Oh yeah, biggest free agent on the market at the time, and he bust.
But
I'm gonna go Vikings on this one.
I got the Vikings. I'm gonna go with the Vikings on this one, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be pretty close. I think a field goal is gonna decide it again. So.
Yeah, I think this game gonna play out exactly how it did last time. Field goal or a touchdown wins it. I'm gonna take the Vikings by 7 though. But last game for the Sunday slate, you got the third matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Shiesty, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and them. Is Lamar Jackson going to be back? Who knows? But if Lamar is back, I give Baltimore a way better chance to win this game if he's back. Even though I'm still taking Cincinnati, but
Joe Shiesty wins.
if Lamar plays, Baltimore has a legit shot. But I'm taking Joe Shiesty in this one. Probably by like 10 points.
I'm gonna say this: if Lamar Jackson play, I'm gonna probably go with the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Ravens if he plays. If he plays, I'll go with the Ravens. I just don't see because honestly, Joe Shiesty, he has showed inconsistency. I have seen it.
All right, just somebody mute him for right now because he's just talking nonsense.
I'm not talking nonsense. I'm just saying he showed inconsistency.
Joe Burrow's worst game was week 1.
They got 4 losses.
That is true.
It was. He threw like 3 interceptions that game? At least 3.
Yeah, his worst. Yeah, he was two touchdowns, 4 picks against the Steelers, and then after that, he only had 12.
And what they lost
interceptions.
They lost to the Cowboys, which was one of them.
Okay.
And he didn't have a bad game on that one. I kind of fell asleep on that game, but from what I've seen of it, he was okay in the second half.
Not to mention he still has a bad offensive line. He got sacked 6 times that game.
But they're they're not making it out of. They'll make it to the NFC. AFC.
Now Baltimore has corralled him this year because first game
they'll make it to the divisional round.
He was 217 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And then yesterday he was just 215 yards and a touchdown. So, Baltimore has a formula on defense of how to, keep him at bay. But you also got to remember Joe Mixon is in the backfield. So they have weapons. It's not just Joe or bust. But I'm still taking the Bengals.
Especially going back to back and playing the Ravens, that's going to be a rough point. I'm not going to say it's a blowout by any means, but they're playing back to back against the Ravens. The Ravens do some more adjustments, then they can have a good chance. But Anthony Brown not going to cut it, not with 2 picks and no touchdowns.
That's why I'm saying it's either Lamar or bust. If he plays, they got a chance of winning.
They win, maybe. If he don't play, wrap it up.
Yeah. So
see you in the next round.
For who? Lamar Jackson?
If he plays, they got a chance.
If Lamar plays, the Ravens have a good chance of winning.
Okay, I'm be real with you. I don't think they got a shot no matter who plays. Because the problem that comes with it is Lamar hasn't played in over a month. So he's gonna come back in there and play our football and be extremely rusty, possibly. And trying to work his legs and everything, and they are going to hit him. This is playoff football, so they're going to hit him and everything. They're going to aim for him, and I'm just not of the mindset like he can. Or Lamar can be Superman at times, but it's hard for me to believe he's going to come in out of nowhere, not playing in relatively a month, not be rusty, and lead 28 to 30 points. That's a lot to ask.
I got to follow that.
This is against the Bengals, who you're going to have to score probably like 28 to 30 points. It's hard for me to see Lamar pulling that off. It's hard.
It's hard, but it's they got to
regardless if he hasn't played in a month, and that's true.
Right.
But when you're a playmaker, you're a playmaker. You know what I mean?
Right.
When
you need people to make plays with, though.
Yeah, true. But Lamar, we know Lamar is a walking touchdown himself.
So
he can break an 80-yard run just like that, and it's.
But if he get them far enough in the playoffs, hell, they might just give him that contract fully guaranteed.
Yeah, this may determine how much money he gets, but I feel like Lamar probably is out of Baltimore. They ain't give him his bread yet.
But here's the thing: his mom screwed that up for him because they offered him 200 and something $1 million, and which was like 80% of the contract was guaranteed. And she told him to turn it down. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's like you need
He
230.
want that Russ contract. What you mean?
I mean,
No,
listen,
he want
I
that
want a
Deshaun
unanimous
Watson
MVP.
contract.
You know what I mean? Give me Deshaun Watson ain't win no MVPs.
Right.
He won massage parlor MVP maybe.
Right.
But you know, I
Deshaun,
want
Part of
the
Poppy.
Deshaun Watson. Oh, I think if not 90% of his contract is guaranteed, if not all of his guaranteed.
the Browns was just
He wants
desperate
that,
to get away from
but they
Baker.
was desperate. They was trying to move on from Baker Mayfield, and they just overpaid for him. And you see how he playing? He playing like trash. I mean, but
well, since Nathaniel Hackett's been going, Russ has kind of looked like Russ. So
right,
you know,
Let Russ cook.
it was Hackett the whole time. So
right. That's what I'm saying. I said that in the beginning. It was the coach. The coach is
He ain't
trash.
say shit.
I believe they're trying the Broncos.
He's not a system quarterback.
I seen that they're trying to bring in Dan Quinn for an interview and also D'Amico Ryans.
Oh yeah, and Sean Payton.
We need D'Amico Ryan to stay where he at on the Niners.
But the last game of the wild card weekend, you have Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, Skip Bayless is, you know, he's going to have this game propped up on all screens. You know what I mean? Tom Brady versus the boys.
No Jerry's World.
It's not in Jerry World. We're in Tampa Bay.
Right.
Tom Brady's 7-0 in his career against the Cowboys.
Man.
7-1.
That, even though I said the Vikings game is probably the biggest one on upset alert, I think that's the hardest game to call. Yes, the Buccaneers suck. Like, they suck as this year at least. They have not been a good team. I got you. But the Cowboys just looked so bad yesterday. Like, man.
26-6. They just
that was like 14-37 with a touchdown.
14-37 and a touchdown, a pick six.
Seven straight games with an interception. Tied with Davis Mills for the most interceptions in the league.
How do you not play in 5 games and still lead the league in interceptions?
Like, the thing that got me is the game was relatively fine. It was 6-13 at halftime.
Right.
And it just went completely out of control. I want to say, like, I want to chalk it up, and that's what I've been doing. Mentally, I've just been chalking it up to, like, at halftime, they saw the Eagles leading, and they was like, you know, we don't give a squat. I really just chalking it up mentally to that, because even the Cowboys and this is Washington, who had everything to play for, you know, just wanting to be spoiler, and it's their last game and all that kind of crap. I got you, and a brand new quarterback who actually looks pretty good. It's just too bad they found them on week 18 instead of week 1, but, you know, like, I get you, but they look so bad. I say it looks so bad that I really it's hard for me to just be like, okay, they'll bounce back. Cause I would say most of the teams, okay, cool, they'll bounce back, they'll be fine. The Cowboys, they will go and lay an egg in freaking Tampa Bay, and nobody would be surprised. But Tampa Bay has just been so bad that a lackluster Cowboys could still beat them, and I wouldn't be surprised. So I think it's gonna take the best game of Tampa Bay's season this year. I think it'll take their best game to beat a mid-tier Cowboys. And I'm just like, I just can't see. Like, I get it. Tom Brady has been Tom Brady for the last 20 years, but this Tom Brady this year ain't been that Tom Brady. This offense ain't been that offense. The offensive line has just been problematic, to say the least. The defense ain't been as shut down for the second half of the season. I really feel like the Cowboys could just win by just double dosing Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard and a decent defense, and they can sneak out of there 21-17 and just be done with it.
But see, then they would get, so they will probably get the Eagles in the second round.
Yeah, like most likely if everything goes right, unless like the Giants upset, and unless they upset and they'll be the lowest
seed. If the Seahawks upset, then the Cowboys,
they'll go to Eagle Land, which that'll be even more of a question mark game to try to call. But like, because the Buccaneers, I don't think they've scored above 20 points on average, maybe once to twice this season. Like, they average around 20 points or less. They have not scored this year. And I'm just like, I get it. Like, the Cowboys can lay an egg. I really feel like they can lay an egg fine, but the massive edge it would take for them to not even score like 17 to 20 points would just be a master class
But
of failure.
I'm
And God,
I'm a go and say, and I like and I really really like Tom Brady, but I'm gonna go to say that the Cowboys win this one, and
For me, Cowboys. You taking the boys?
I'm taking the boys, and I'm gonna take. And here's what the problem is. It goes down to Ty Bowles. Ty Bowles is not Bruce Arians. He's not Bill Belichick. He does not make changes. We have seen this, even with the Jets. He does not make changes to what the issue is. So as a defensive coach, he's there. That's that's where his strength is at. But as a offensive head coach, he is trash. So I'm going to take and say McCarthy. McCarthy is a better head coach. He's a better head coach than Todd
Right.
Bowles. So it's like, I mean, Todd Bowles is trash, and you know he is.
Mike
So
McCarthy is not a good. He's
That's
barely a step above Jason Garrett. So we're not even.
right.
Gonna
You got the
listen to what I'm
Cowboys.
saying. I just said
the problem is with Tampa Bay, they can't get past 21 points.
I just said
They
that,
only
Which-
averaged
which
18 points a game this
which
year.
which goes down to Todd Bowles.
But oddly enough, averaged 21 points for their last
Is
3
it,
games.
which is one of the which is why I said Todd Bowles. I never said I never said McCarthy was
Todd Bowles
better.
is not the coach. Bruce Arians is in the box telling them what to do.
No,
when
Todd Bowles is the coach.
And then Tom Brady has so much equity. He could call his own plays. So stop saying Todd Bowles. It doesn't
He's
matter.
trash, yo. He's
Yeah,
trash.
he could be trash. He ain't the one calling the plays.
I feel like, quote my boy Stephen A. Smith, the Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. And we've seen 7 straight weeks that has had an accident.
Right.
I mean, it's not, who am I to say he isn't going to have one on Monday night? And this is Tom Brady we talking about. I know the Bucks was ass during the season. We get it. Playing the worst division in football. We know. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is still Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I mean, he's still the GOAT.
Playoff time.
Okay.
Playoff time. I'm taking the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks. Tom Brady game-winning drive.
Let me jump in to bring up a couple points for the final. So now, one for the Buccaneers side, this is Thomas Edward Brady. This is the same Thomas Edward Brady that went down, I think, around 28 points to the Rams last year in the playoffs with a better team. And he went down 20-some 8 points last year. So this ain't the same Thomas Edward Brady that was putting up 30-some points.
28 points.
And this Buccaneers team is worse. So that's one thing. Like this ain't necessarily the same. And Tom Brady has thrown interceptions himself this season. So I feel like even if Dak, throws a pick, I feel like Tom Brady will throw one right back, very possibly. That's one thing. The other issue is on the Cowboys side. Now I am going to pick the Cowboys. I'm gonna pick them, even though I think this game gonna be close, though it shouldn't be. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. The other issue is that just like I said with Brandon Staley, in that he might be in a win or you get fired. I personally believe Mike McCarthy is in a win or you get fired this game. I think he won't make it back to Dallas on the plane if he loses this game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's done.
Bring back Coach Clapp.
So I really believe, I think matter of fact, the front office might get cleared out. Like they might get rid of him. Kellen Moore might get gone. Because they can't have another debacle where last year, because the Buccaneers weren't the only one that had a bit of an embarrassing performance. Last year, we remember the Cowboys played the 49ers in I think either the divisional round or the wild card round, only put up around 13 points, something like that if I remember, and had a clock management debacle at the end of the game due to Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott for too much running. So they cannot have another debacle and lose this game. Otherwise, the whole front office might get cleared out. McCarthy, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn might either get promoted to head coach or he might be gone. It's going to be ugly. Yeah. And I think it's going to be so much pressure on the Cowboys to win the game that's going to make the game closer than it should be. Because technically, if you remove the pressure part, the Cowboys should blow them out. It shouldn't really be that much of an issue. But I think because of the pressure, I think it's going to be closer. But I still feel like dominant run game, a defense that we know can show up at big moments. I feel like the Cowboys still just suck out a win. I feel
Shannon
like it'll
Sharp,
be closer, but I
he
feel like
said
they
the
suck it
same
out.
thing. He said the same thing. He said honestly, I think the Cowboys should stay at 5. He said, think about it. He said he's like if you play Tampa, he said if you play Tampa, he's like you should beat Tampa. He's like, but here's the problem. He's like, here's the problem, which is going to be an issue. He's like, you're going to run into Philadelphia. He's like, you're going to run into them regardless. He was like, at the end of the day, you're going to run into Philly regardless. And he was like, it's not going to be in Jerry's world. It's going to be out here. So even if they make it past Tampa, they're going to run into the Eagles anyway. So
it's going to be another Cowboy, and then they're going to lose this game. Like,
okay,
right.
So this is my pushback to that.
Tom Brady is going to. This is the start of the run. This is the start of the Super Bowl run. Wild card team making it like it got the Super Bowl run written all over it. And look at Brady's history. He wins a Super Bowl. The next year he doesn't. And then what does he do the next year? Win a Super Bowl. Like I mean, this has the whole narrative of the Bucks was just so horrible this year, and then Tom Brady and
then he ride off into the sunset.
Masterful, ride to the Super Bowl. I could see it happening. Like
so you think he'll get past the Eagles?
I'm taking the Bucks by a touchdown. First game they played was 19-3. The Cowboys have found their offensive identity, so I'm pretty sure they're not scoring 3 points. But I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this one. Give me Tampa 27-24.
See, I love the idea. It's just this is not like I love the idea of history and how it shows. This ain't the same Tom Brady. Like this isn't the same Tom Brady. This isn't necessarily the same Buccaneers team. This isn't the same Patriots. It ain't Bill Belichick sitting behind the head coaching thing with Robert Kraft, throwing it up there with Josh McDaniels. This is not that team. And I can see the fear of Tom Brady, but it's just the team is
I don't know. He don't have.
It would be a miracle if
he don't have AB. He don't have Gronk. Those the two factors right there.
I just don't see the
Stop saying Gronk's name. The fuck.
And I would go
Gronk was the reason why they came back last year. Stop.
But I would go so far as to say if the Cowboys do win the game, I give them a shot to beat the Eagles. Reason being, divisional matchups. You're not afraid of your divisional matchup. Nobody's ever going to be afraid of your division if you play them in the playoffs. That's not going to be your mentality. It's going to be, okay, we just have to have a different mentality for playing them 3 times in a year. The different mentality than being afraid of them. 2, the Cowboys for sure are not going to be afraid of the Eagles, seeing as how both games have been because of injury to quarterback, all that. But they've played the Eagles at home, at Eagle Land, and they played them. They played them close with the backup quarterback. So you can make the argument that, okay, they're not going to be afraid of them then. Played them with their backup quarterback, managed to beat them then. They're not going to be afraid of them. And that's the thing about the playoffs. If you get the monkey off your back with a first win against the Buccaneers, it's open season after that. Like, you got to get the monkey. And they get that monkey off their back with a division opponent that they're familiar with. It's anybody's open game.
Just get the monkey off your back just to lose the Jalen Hurts?
Possibly. But then you got to also look at it. Jalen Hurts. Because then if you look at let's just say, for fitness sake, that the Cowboys, when they go to Eagle Land, Jalen Hurts will then have all of the pressure put on him for his performance when he got beat by the Bucks last year in such a humiliating fashion. And now you have the number 1 seed playing at home, and you're gonna be a bit rusty. You had 1 game off of injury, but now you had another week off, and all of the pressure is gonna be on them now. Whole different mantra at that point. So I'm gonna give the Cowboys a shot to beat the Eagles if they go there. But just first, they got to get this monkey off their back. If they get that Buccaneer monkey off their back, it's open season. But if they don't get that monkey off their back,
I just don't see them coming here and beating them. That's just
matchup, bro, and
anything can happen. Anything can happen. Because I said it earlier.
I give it anything can happen, but boy, anything can happen. And I don't think the game will be like I said, I give them a shot. I'm not gonna necessarily say I'm gonna pick them. I'm not picking them, but I definitely give them a shot because the defense can be good. The running game is top tier. And you just need a serviceable quarterback, and he can be serviceable and can put up points if it turns to a shootout like it did in their last game. So I'm just like,
I think
it can be done.
So here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. So the Eagles get, if not all their defense back, which would be Josh Sweat, what is it, Avonte Maddox, well, CJ Gardner Johnson's back. So it's like, so at the end of the day, you get all them back, and you're playing a full Eagles team. I'm not going to say they're going to be at 100% because Lane Johnson is going to be Lane Johnson is Lane Johnson. But the thing is, I people were saying that Dak is better than Jalen Hurts in this year. I think Hurts is better than Dak, and it's just his numbers are speaking for itself. And
I mean, one
Dak
has 15 interceptions, the other one has 5. So
5, yeah. So Dak is going to, in the Tampa game, he's going to throw at least one. Going to throw at least one. Will it be a pick six? That will probably remain to be seen. But at the end of the day, I like I said, with the divisional games, those are up in the air. Those are up in the air. And as far
Blasphemy.
as that,
Daniel Jones
they
over Dak is crazy.
Blasphemy.
that is crazy. And
Danny
but
Dimes versus Danny Dimes
like
versus sweet number deck.
how the Cowboys. I mean, how Tom Brady's been playing. I got to go with the Cowboys on this one. It's just they're not the same team. Tampa's not the same
Okay,
team.
so we're just making up shit at this point.
I'm not making up nothing.
Tom Brady's still
The
Tom
way
Brady.
Tom Brady has been playing, I'm picking Dak. Dak has the most picks in the league with missing 5 games, but we're criticizing Brady. Okay, we can move on to
All right. So that's the wild card weekend. You got Chargers, Chargers, Jags, Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Bucks, Cowboys, Giants, Vikings, Seahawks, 49ers.
But then you not just say like a couple of days ago you did not want the 49ers to play the Seahawks? Didn't you just say that a couple of days ago? You said that
on this pod.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what you just said. The way Tom Brady has been playing, I'm picking Dak. What the fuck does that got to do with anything?
Meaning is I'm picking him to outperform Tom Brady.
Okay.
Tom Brady.
So,
is he not going through a divorce right now?
Go ahead. What they got? That has nothing to do with anything. He's in the playoffs.
He's
the
in the
divorce
playoffs.
is finalized. He good.
So we'll see.
Daniel Jones, but ain't nobody smoking Daniel Jones
But
recently.
this is the odds to win the Super Bowl. We got the Chiefs with the best odds, followed by the Bills and the Eagles. 49ers, Bengals rounding out the top 5 with the Cowboys at 6, Chargers 7, Bucks 8, Vikings 9. Then you got the Ravens at 10. Giants aren't even listed. So, neither are the Jaguars. So out of, we see the odds here by Fox Bet. Super Bowl predictions. I know, but we just
I got the Eagles and the Bills. Okay. That's who I want to see in the Super Bowl. Eagles and the Bills.
Jalen Hurts versus
Josh Allen.
I got Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs Niners.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna go. Dang. I'm stuck in my AFC pick. My NFC pick, God dang it.
There we go. There we go.
The Chiefs Niners.
There we go.
I'm gonna pick the Niners for the NFC. Though I don't trust Brock Purdy as of yet. I think the 49ers on other 51, 53 positions are just so good that it's hard for me to just see a team being able to just upset them. Even the Eagles, because just as we say, all these other quarterbacks are relatively unproven. So is Jalen Hurts. So, it's up in the air. And if I got to look at the other 53 men on the roster, 49ers dominate most of the other teams if I'm just ignoring, because, basically all the quarterbacks all got issues. So, the AFC, I personally think is going to come down between the Bills and the Bengals, because I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not a believer in the Chiefs. I don't believe in the Chiefs. I don't believe they've gotten the benefits of having a lot of easy games, but their wide receivers to have the same issues of not getting separation. It have the same issues of not having a dependable run game. They have the same issue of the defense being shaky, and they've
I
been beaten by
if you
both
wanna
teams.
if you wanna get down to it,
So
I think the Bengals got the best. They got the best. They got the best path to the Super Bowl. I'll put
like
it to you like that. They
the
got the
only
best
thing
path.
about it that makes it shaky is that if everything goes right for their first round, the Bengals and Bills should have their rematch. Like they should have their game in the second round, and it's hard for me to pick that game because that game's going to be in Buffalo, and it's hard for me to pick that game. It's very hard for me to pick that game because the first time they were going to play was going to be in the Bengals lane. This was going to be an entirely different mantra, and that game could be up in the air. I really,
But
but
if
if I
you
got to
really
pick,
want, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna pick the Bills and 49ers. I think it like the way we were talking about Tom Brady, the story is wrote for itself. The DeMar Hamlin story charging the Bills to make a clean sweep through the AFC is something that could be written in history. Like if somebody gotta get hot, that is a reason to have that channel week 17, week 18 that charges you through. Week 18 they had a beautiful, couple of running back touchdowns from kickoffs. The story could be written in stone that way. So if I gotta look at a story, I go Bills 49ers. You have the 49ers with the upstart out of nowhere rookie driving them to the Super Bowl versus the DeMar Hamlin led Bills. Please, that
I'm
is
going
sale. So
my Super Bowl prediction. I'm going all Florida. It's going to be all Florida showdown. Tom Brady and the Bucks versus Dougie P's Jaguars. You know what I mean?
Vegas would be done
The
if that
wild
happened.
card run of the century. Dougie
Vegas
P.
would be done.
No, but I'm going, a lot of narrative around this
Fearless.
game. I'm going Andy Reid's Chiefs against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Can Andy Reid win a Super Bowl against the team he never could get a Super Bowl? Can he win a Super Bowl against them? So I'm taking Chiefs Eagles. Both number one seeds. I'm taking the easy way out here.
I don't blame you. Like they really good on paper. It's just so many of these quarterbacks in the NFC side are just relatively either unproven or you can't trust them fully.
I
To
put it
be
like
like,
this.
this is hard.
So now me watching the last game of the season. In my personal opinion, I really think that the Lions should have been there, and the way how they played, and it shows that I think the Rams they gave up their diamond in the rough on Jared Goff. I think they gave up on him too soon, and they got a team built around him, and now the Rams coach is about to step down because basically they don't have a first rounder, they don't have a third rounder, and I don't think they have a fourth round pick. And on top of it, you got an aging quarterback who keep getting concussed. Then Aaron Donald contemplating on retiring. Then you got to pay Jalen Ramsey. They don't have enough money for that, and they got to pay Cooper Kupp. They don't have enough money for that. And he already said he don't want to be part. He don't want to be part of a rebuilding team. So but what I'm saying is,
cutting niggas' pockets.
Sean McVay to the Las Vegas Raiders.
but what I'm saying is, they gave up. And this is by far. I am not a Jared Goff fan, but the way how he played, that shows that he's a good quarterback, and they didn't build around him properly. But Detroit, you see how Detroit built around him. They built around him, and they're going to build around him again. They're going to add more people. They don't need a quarterback. They got their quarterback. He's cool. They just need maybe like another receiver or something. And they're good
next year if they can get in.
And now, Cam, here's what I'm gonna say. If they would have made the playoffs, they would have knocked the 49ers off. They would have knocked them off. They definitely would have knocked them off.
Y'all ready cut this off?
Yeah, we're gonna get to the last John, then we out.
Let me bite back for it. Let me bite back for the Rams thing. The problem with the Rams, I don't think they gave up too soon because they won. Like they sold Garrett Goff for a quarterback and they won. So to say that
I
their
mean,
decision was bad is just it doesn't make no sense because they got what they wanted. They won a Super Bowl, and then
right,
what
that's
happens
true.
when you sell out for a Super Bowl, you pay the piper afterwards. What's happening? They're paying the piper. They don't have picks and
Yeah.
stuff, but that's what you
It was
sell
fucking
when you
picks.
go all in, and it worked. So like, yeah, Jared Goff possibly is a good quarterback, diamond in the rough, ship, but they won. Like, because
That's
he
true.
hit them
That's
over
true.
We can
That's true.
easily say he better than Carson Wentz, who he
So like,
Now you better
who's
than Wentz.
picked after him. But
well,
the
they
last
pay the
thing
piper.
before we get out of here, because we've been on an hour.
Yeah.
But 2023 draft order, we know the Texans fucked themselves yesterday. Out of the number one pick by winning the game against the trash ass Colts, who have the fourth pick in the draft. But you got the Bears now with the number one pick, Texans 2, Cardinals 3, Colts 4, Seattle via Denver with the fifth pick, Lions get the 6th because of the Rams. 7th, you got the Raiders. 8th, Falcons. 9th, Carolina Panthers. 10th, Philadelphia Eagles via the New Orleans Saints. So that is your top 10 teams. That'll be, that's your draft order for the top 10.
Okay, so I'm gonna eliminate Atlanta, and I'm gonna eliminate Detroit because I think Detroit is gonna I think they're gonna give Jared Goff at least a year. Like, they're gonna try to develop around him and see what they can get. So I think they're gonna give him at least another year. So I'm gonna eliminate Detroit. I'm gonna eliminate Atlanta, and I'm not gonna eliminate Seattle still, but I feel like Seattle should be eliminated. But between Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, and the Las Vegas Raiders, it's finna be one of the biggest bidding wars for that number one spot that you have seen in recent history, because all of them would love to get their hands on Bryce Young, and it's gonna be an amazing bidding war to see who can get that number one pick for Bryce Young, because they all
he's the
even
quarterback,
Carolina
right?
might even get into that.
You talking about the quarterback,
so
right?
far down that it was
quarterback for Alabama. Bryce Young.
It's gonna be a field.
Yeah, I can see the Bears trading out of that pick because you don't need a quarterback. You have Justin Fields. You see the formula that can work.
They might not do it because now they have the option of getting rid of Justin Fields if they feel as though he's not the guy, and just getting Bryce Young. They've only had Fields for about a year or two. They feel he's not the guy.
I think that'll be you haven't really got to see what you got with Fields because he doesn't have any weapons at all. Like any. Like, who is he throwing to? Cole Kmet? N'Keal Harry?
Montgomery?
Darnell Mooney?
Like, I was saying, like,
trade down, get you a receiver, and get well, they have cap space this year, so they may go for a receiver or whatever in free agency. But if I'm Chicago, I'm trading down, packaging that, give me a plethora of picks for that number one pick, and then you just build your roster that way. I mean, but if they do move on from Justin Fields, hey, that's it's the Bears.
They might just trade Justin Fields.
Bears need a receiver. If they get a receiver, they'll be all right.
So I don't know. Just they might just trade Justin Fields, because this is a legitimate thing. They could trade Justin Fields for picks, go with Bryce Young, draft some more stuff, and be done with it. I don't know what the Bears are not. In my opinion, I don't like. It's just a unique opportunity, but I feel as though you should invest in the team. You don't trade Fields. I think you just trade the pick, get a smorgasbord of stuff. But like I said, them 4 teams I named, and even 5, because I put the Panthers in there, because it's just gonna take a lot to go from 9 to 1. But them other 4 teams, them 5 teams, it's gonna be a bidding war.
Now, I can also see the Texans trying to trade up, maybe. But
it's gonna be a big.
Speaking of college, the national championship, we all knew. If you pick TCU, I don't know what you were smoking, but Georgia is up 52-7 as we speak. Yeah. So
I mean, we know college football isn't real, so
that's Michigan's fault. But it's all right. Going back in the NFL.
Another championship for Georgia. Nick Saban somewhere punching a wall, but this has been Blerd Cartel post game. Playoffs start this weekend, Saturday, January 14th. Like I said, with the 49ers and 49ers. Seahawks, Chargers, Jaguars. But yes, this is Blerd Cartel post game. This is your boy Hollywood Sensei.
Jay Herbo.
The Prince versus Jay Herbo. You know what I mean? It's your boy Hollywood Sensei of Blerd Cartel, CEO status, aka New Year, New Sensei. You already know. Follow the Blerd Cartel on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts for all your audio needs. And just subscribe to that YouTube. I mean, we almost at 300 subscribers. So I mean, just keep driving that number up. You know what I mean? Keep driving it up. And you know, I'm back tomorrow with Culture Watch. You know, me and BMT is back. You know what I mean?
Get in there.
But yeah, fellas. And also next Monday, Locker Room is back. I mean, we will be back with Locker Room next Monday.
Back and being toxic.
Back to being toxic.
But let them know where to find y'all, good brothers.
Catch me on here.
AKA. Follow everything Blerd Cartel. Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. We ain't asking for much, you know. Wednesday roundtable, heroes versus villain concept. Why are heroes born? Why are villains made? Why are the comic book hero teams versus anime villain teams? And then stuff along the lines of are my hero villains inferior or were the villains just smarter?
Also, we got to talk about why do the villains easily have the best backstories? You know what I mean? Best lives, like, you know, because villains be up out here. Every villain I know is like rich, and heroes be broke as fuck. But you know, we gonna get into that Wednesday roundtable.
Yeah, your boy Monray Hudson. Everywhere it says Monray Hudson, Facebook, Instagram. Especially come look on TikTok if you're interested in the anime stuff. We got the Blerd Cartel on TikTok. The amazing Spider Cam, aka Mr. AKA, over there giving horrible takes and drawing the ire of all of the anime TikTok community. Come see what he got to say. It's gonna be hilarious. Otherwise, it is your boy Monray Hudson on Make It Make Sense on Saturday, keeping up with whatever's trending. It is what it is. It's gonna be something else. And how about them Cowboys?
How about them boys?
How about them boys?
Them boys.
Shout out to Jimmy Johnson. But yeah,
I just appear on whatever show, that's whatever.
Friday Night Girl this Friday, maybe.
Possibly.
You know, hearing that Mercedes maybe going to AEW. That's I keep seeing that all day on Facebook.
That'd be a blow to WWE for sure.
You know, they according to WWE, they said they trying to let her get this stuff out of her system before they try to bring it back. You know what I mean? So
if she go to AEW, she gonna be locked in for at least 5 years.
My thing is, I don't. We'll save it for Friday Night Girl because I feel like if she go to AEW, it's definitely gonna be a